Some Northern Rivers residents are on the verge of quitting the flood recovery effort due to exhaustion, as criticism of the state and federal government's responses intensifies. The community's anger and exasperation appears to have been typified in viral footage of a local man heckling Australian Defence Force personnel. In the footage, which can be viewed above, the man drives by a group of soldiers who are being filmed apparently undertaking recovery work by another soldier with a camera on a tripod. The man suggests the work by the soldiers is staged for public relations purposes, accusing them of pointlessly emptying a trailer which had been already filled with debris. They are filming themselves, look at them, emptying out a trailer full of rubbish onto the side of a road, the man says. This is unbelievable. Doing a good job, guys. That trailer ain't going to empty itself, is it? Make sure you get it filmed. Flood damage in Lismore last week. Jason O'Brien, AAP. Well done, fellas. You're earning every penny. Save the trailers, everybody. It is not suggested the troops were doing anything wrong. But among the many criticisms by locals of the disaster response has been the slow pace of getting troops to the region. And their arrival in the past few days has appeared to have provided little respite to community members who have so far almost exclusively undertaken the response. In my experience, it has been the civilians and the community that have been on the ground, Lisa Messenger, a prominent businesswoman, author and bungalow resident, told 7news.au on Tuesday. I personally have seen a couple of army trucks, but haven't seen anyone yet doing anything. I'm sure the army are doing the best they can do under whoever is guiding them. An angry Northern Rivers local has filmed himself heckling army troops working on the flood recovery. Twitter. Ms. Messenger has been among those attempting to coordinate the response in the absence of official leadership, describing what she's witnessed over the past 9 days as some of the most hideous situations I could have ever imagined. I am starting to witness on the ground a lot of burnout, and the anger's almost starting to come out, she said. I think we do need to find a better way to recalibrate and support all the incredible volunteers who are just working around the clock. On Tuesday, another local resident who had been leading the response, Benjamin Berry, said he would be handing over his information on the recovery to NSW police in order for the authority to take charge of the operation. The cleanup operation is well underway in Lismore. AAP. Everyone I've personally been in contact with, mainly down the southern end of the Northern Rivers, around Lismore where it's affected, we're all buggered and we can't keep going safely, he said on Instagram. I just don't think it's safe for me and the others I know to keep doing that. Defence Minister Peter Dutton has defended the response by the ADF, saying they rescued more than 100 people from rooftops in Lismore, but they and other emergency authorities have been overwhelmed by the size of the task. I'm not critical of the Australian Defence Force at all, to be honest, he said in Brisbane on Tuesday. Your cookie settings are preventing this third-party content from displaying. If you'd like to view this content, please adjust your cookie settings. To find out more about how we use cookies, please see our cookie guide. I think the work they've done, the bravery, the lives that they've saved, I am incredibly proud of that. It's expected there will be as many as 5,000 ADF personnel deployed across flood-ravaged areas by the end of the week. Around 680 will arrive on Tuesday alone, the government says. But opposition leader Anthony Albanese criticised the government's handling of bringing in the ADF. Clearly, there have been issues here with people who were on the roofs of places for a long period of time. There's a need for an explanation, he said. Why are people having to pitch in and privately hire helicopters when the ADF have access to those resources? They are all questions that need answers. But Mr. Dutton and NSW Premier Dominic Perrottet have defended the timing of the ADF's arrival, arguing many areas were inaccessible. However, Lisa Messenger has rejected the claim, saying community members have themselves found ways to reach inaccessible residents. But she is reluctant to point fingers, instead preferring for more to be revealed about the government's response. Your cookie settings are preventing this third-party content from displaying. If you'd like to view this content, please adjust your cookie settings. To find out more about how we use cookies, please see our cookie guide. I don't buy that because I've been with people who, as a community, have had to find helicopter pilots and pay for fuel, she said. So many of my friends have jumped in tinnies and boats and actually been on the ground responding. I don't want to blame anyone, because at this point I don't know enough about the chain of command. But what I'm doing is my darn hardest to find out what the chain of command is. I think in a situation like this it's really easy for everyone to jump on and say, they didn't do this. Your cookie settings are preventing this third-party content from displaying. If you'd like to view this content, please adjust your cookie settings. To find out more about how we use cookies, please see our cookie guide. I'd rather find out what the facts are and be able to communicate that and say, this is where the system goes wrong. Emma Scott, 37, a project manager, who lives at Tyalgum, near Murwillumbah, is one of many critical of slow government efforts to provide food and supplies to her village that was cut off after landslides. When we see the Sikh community and local celebrities being more present and proactive in supporting affected communities in times of crisis than public services, we have an abject failure of government, she tweeted. A week is too long to wait for support when your house is inundated with flood water, your animals are at risk, and you have no water, power, food, fuel or internet. With AAP. Watch the latest news on Channel 7 or stream it for free on 7+.